Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to finish off the Superwomen in STEM series with Women as Scientists in Medicine, which is the first book that we found, me and my daughter found from the library of this series. In fact, I think I'm going to eventually buy this series. This is by Nancy Dickmann, who did our Women in Life Sciences, which is the first book I covered for the series. This is the first book, again, we borrowed from the library and had me discover this series, which I really, really enjoy. So let's get into it. So the first woman in this one is Florence Nightingale. Now I have my own personal feelings about Florence Nightingale because she was really kind of an anti-feminist at the time, but she was born in 1820 in Florence, Italy. She was a nurse and statistician. She had on-the-job training. So her father taught her history and literature, but she had to fight to be allowed to study math, which was seen as unsuitable for women. Again, she was upper class. She did a lot of stuff in the 1853 Crimean War between Russia and the United Kingdom. And essentially what she did a lot of sanitary stuff in getting things organized. That's what she did in hospitals. That's what she was known for, where she was getting things clean, she was getting things sanitary, she was getting things organized where it wasn't as chaotic. So that's what Florence Nightingale really did. So she became a celebrity after the Crimean War, and she opened a nursing school. Though if I do remember correctly, and this is one of the reasons I'm homeschooling, so you get both sides of the story, she was against women's rights to vote. So that's the reason I am at two minds when it comes to Florence Nightingale. All right, moving on to Elizabeth Blackwell. I've actually read through this book before. So she was born in 1812 in Bristol, England. She was a physician. She went to Geneva Medical School because she couldn't get to school in England because, girl, she was female. So she, So her family actually moved to the United States, but she couldn't get in to medical school. She did become a teacher first, but she eventually went into, after working at a dying friend, she wanted to go into medicine, and eventually she had to go to, New York, not Switzerland, but Geneva Medical School College in New York. She was ranked first in her class when she graduated, but she still had trouble trying to get a job. And eventually she wasn't hired, so I believe, they basically opened their own clinic and people started coming in. So she eventually set up a women's medical college in the United States, and then went to England where she set up a medical practice and became a professor at the London School of Medicine for Women. So now we're moving on to Elizabeth Garrett Anderson, who was, she was born in 1836 in London. She was a physician. Her education with the Society of Apothecaries, University of Paris. So the story of her is there was a loophole, and she exploited said loophole. She was able to get a degree as a apothecary, which allowed her to practice medicine before they would let her practice medicine. After that, they closed the loophole because it's like, oh crap, we gotta close this loophole because how dare women practice medicine? Again, this was the 1800s, so women should not be doctors, so she couldn't get in. So I believe she worked with Elizabeth Blackwell as well. So she found that she couldn't get the Society of Apothecaries couldn't award medical degrees, but by passing their exam, she would get a license to practice medicine. So, and they didn't forbid women. So believe that she got the highest score, England, and she became the first woman to certified to practice medicine. And the society quickly changed its rules so that other women were unable to follow in her footsteps. So, yeah, they were not happy. She fought for women's rights, and I believe she worked with women. She created a hospital for women, serving other women, obviously, and along with Elizabeth Blackwell, created the London School of Medicine for Women. So that's what she did. Now we have moved on to Melanie Klein. She was born in 1882 in Vienna, Austria-Hungary. She was a psychoanalyst and she was self-taught. Not surprised. She was Jewish. Not about that. It's just Austria-Hungary and science. So her father was a dental surgeon. She wanted to go to medical school. She got married at 21, so she ended up becoming self-taught. So her family moved to Budapest in 1910. She admired Sigmund Freud. So she presented papers in Hungary and moved to Berlin. And this is 1926. Eventually she moved to England. Good idea. Jewish, Berlin, 1920s, not a good place to be. So, but that's kind of what she did. So she was the one who created play therapy, which is something, and there's a picture of her. So play therapy is very, very important. I have a child who has a speech delay, and working with playing and language is something, and play therapy is very, very important. So she worked with children. So she believed young children express themselves through play more than through words. So, and by watching children play and draw, she could learn about their unconscious anxieties and feelings, which she's not wrong about. So, moving on to the next one. Rita Levi Montalcini. Okay, I can't pronounce this. She was Italian. So, she was born in 1909 in Turin, Italy. She was a neurobiologist. She went to the University of Turin. Again, she didn't want to treat patients. She wanted to learn about how bodies work. So she was behind the scenes. She discovered and paved the way for new treatments. So her father was old-fashioned. He wanted his daughters to learn. He didn't want them to go to college or have careers, which is the reason. But she went off to school anyway. She was working on the nervous system, again, neurobiology. So, oh, wonderful. She was Jewish, and Mussolini. There's a lot of Jewish women in these books. Being born in Europe in around the time of fascism and Nazis and Mussolini. So, when they were persecuting the Jews like crazy. Always fun. So their family went to the countryside and then later to Florence when World War II broke out. She was hired as a doctor by the British when they came back. She worked at refugee camps. And let's see, when the war ended in 1945, she returned to Turin and her research. So she did actually treat patients as a doctor. And then eventually she went to the United States to work with Victor Hamburger, a professor at Washington University in St. Louis. So she was one who was working on nerve cells. So, and there's a picture of her, because again, modern photography. She, recognized for her achievements, was made a lifetime member of the Italian Senate, which I have no idea what that means. Moving on. And here's someone I'm very much aware of, and most people have heard. This is Virginia Apgar. So have you heard, if you had children, you've heard of the Apgar score. So that's the first thing they look at when the baby is born to see how healthy it is. Basically looking particularly at the breathing. What color is the skin of your child? Is it crying? So she was born in 1909 in Westville, New Jersey. She was a physician and anesthesiologist. She went to Columbia University. So that's really what she was really, really known for. She studied anesthesiology, and she was studying how basically breathing. So she was a teacher for a while. As she worked, she was and basically discovered the Apgar score. So this is what the Apgar score is. It studies, it's like listens to the heart rate, the breathing, the reaction to airways being suctioned, muscle tone, and color. So, and it goes up to, it's 0 to 10, though my daughter was a 9, perfectly healthy kid. Occasionally, I think I was slightly below that because I was a little purple, but I was an 8-pound baby, and I was 2 weeks late. So, my daughter, so like a 0 is No heart rate, no breathing, no response. They were floppy and they were pale blue or pale all over. So a 1 is 100 beats per minute, weak cry and slow breathing, a grimace when it comes to airways, some flexing of arms and legs, bluish hands or feet. So a 2 is 100, more than 100 beats per minute, strong cry and breathing, grimace and pull away, active motion, good color all over. So that was her. Obviously now it goes up to 10 because they manage things a little bit more differently. So she died in 74 at the age of 65, leaving behind her rich legacy. So she was offered a job at the March of Dimes. She was put in charge of research into prevent birth defects and how to take care of children who were affected by them. So she was, and this is a picture of her examining a baby. So we owe a lot to her. And now that's the end. So we have the timeline, and it ends with Roberta Levy's death in 2012. So, and then it has one more page of a variety of a couple other different women and science of now. So this is the last book in the series. This is Superwomen in STEM, Women Scientists in Medicine. Very good book. Great introduction to this women in medicine, and particularly how they advanced things, and of course how they had to fight. So great series, highly recommend all these books. Great introduction, particularly at the elementary level. I'm definitely planning on hopefully buying this series and then eventually using it to go into deep dives with my daughter when she's not a kindergartner. And she's not there yet. She's very much into animals, but again, she wanted this book. She was looking at medicine and the human body stuff. So again, our function in the library when we go every week is I ask her what she wants me to look up. I look up and we bring we just bring a bunch of books home. Like seriously, we have a giant box. And we read through these books because we read up to 15 books every night. Well, mostly. My husband reads 5. I pick out 10, and I read until she falls asleep. Sometimes we read all of them, sometimes we don't. So, but it depends. So, like and subscribe, leave a positive comment if you have one. Check out the rest of the channel. I do cover other STEM stuff. I am very big into science, technology, and engineering, particularly for women, because being a woman, I am a feminist. I am married. My husband is, in fact, a feminist. I am raising my daughter to be a feminist and to really, hopefully, she really does seem to be in very intelligent when it comes to math right now. So, which is something my husband was very smart in. So, hopefully, she will pick up that from him. But nonetheless, check out the channel, like and subscribe. I will be finishing up the Boxcar Children. I will hopefully be catching up on the mystery media. Get there. It's a little bit harder to get through some of the series. I very much bit off more than I could chew for these when it comes to backing the Boxcar Children, which I have 3 more books to do, and I may cover them right after I'm done with this, just to get them over and done with, and the ones that I have returned to the library. So again, like and subscribe, leave a positive comment if you have one. Look forward to more stuff as I get it done. Thank you.